All right, so welcome back to Flint Hills Briar. I'm Gareth, as always, and here goes nothing. This is my entry for uh, Paladin Piper's 2024 Codger Challenge, this slow smoke contest. Um, I weighed out my tobacco, took a picture of it. I measured my pipe, took a picture of that. This pipe, and I'll try to, I'll see if I can't just edit those pictures in with the video, but I've been having problems with my editing software and some of my videos, so if it screws everything up, I'll just email the pictures to you, Pat. Um, I'm smoking in this little saddle bit bulldog, one of the pipes I got, the state pipes I got in Kansas City, the pipes and tobacco store there. I measured the actual depth of the chambers a little bit below an inch and a half deep, and I have a picture measuring the bowl itself. But I'm going to be smoking Granger just because I haven't had a bowl of Granger for a while. So in this pocket tin, I have 3 ounces of tobacco measured out. So get this pipe packed here. I apologize. This is probably going to be the most boring video because I'm primarily going to be worried about keeping this pipe going and going slowly, not necessarily about talking. And obviously, I usually cut the video off after a while, and never go for a whole bowl's worth. So that'll do it. Yeah, I still have some tobacco left, obviously. Got some coffee. Actually, I don't know if I've ever had it with a pipe before, which I should have by now, but I had some licorice spice tea. Stash is licorice spice tea. We're going to break out some nice matches that I had already. These are actually Swedish uh, safety matches, real genuine from Sweden. Everything's Swedish on there. So, my 2 matches here. All right, so here goes nothing. I think for me, the main challenge here is going to be just keep it going. So I'll have one more match. So you don't want to smoke it too fast either, obviously. So nice thing about Codger blends, though, is you can oftentimes get him going with just one light. I don't know if I said this already, but I think I heard somewhere that safety matches were invented in Sweden originally. Through the years, I've been more of a strike anywhere matches sort of guy. You can take them out camping and stuff or outdoors. You don't have to necessarily worry about having a striking surface to strike them on. And they used to be really easy to find, but nowadays they're hard to find in stores. At least around here, almost to the point where you can't get them. I guess people just don't like using them. They'd rather use safety matches. I have noticed that it seems like safety matches, striking on the box obviously, tend to work a little bit better. So I've had some strike anywhere matches that I had around for a while, but got to where they would barely strike on the box or anything else for that matter. Actually light. It's not that windy outside today, so we got a chance to shoot this video out on the front porch. As opposed to in the garage like I thought I was probably gonna have to. One of these days I'm gonna have to make a mug of can't even think of it offhand. There's a type of black tea that has a very pronounced smoky flavor to it because they actually smoke it, flavor it with smoke. Need to have a cup of that with a nice bowl of a nice Latakia blend. I stumbled onto those like smoke flavored teas because I have one that I got at a shop in Lawrence, Kansas. It was called Russian Caravan, and I didn't realize it was a smoke flavor at first. I just noticed it had this very pronounced, wonderful, interesting flavor to it. I looked into it a little bit and found out it's a smoke flavoring. I guess the story goes that you'd have these merchant caravans coming back, bringing back tea back from China. To Europe or parts west. And as the caravan was traveling, they would obviously stop for the night and camp, and they would have campfire and all that, cook food and stay warm or whatever. And the tea over time of multiple nights during the journey would wind up taking on some of that smoke flavor. So I wanted to see if I could get more of this Russian caravan tea. And I went on Amazon. I found a big bag of it. I mean, it's like maybe like a pound-sized bag. It's huge. It'll take me forever to go through it. And it's labeled Russian caravan, but it has none of that smoke flavoring to it. So I was disappointed. And it's funny because I asked my wife about that Russian caravan, the original Russian caravan tea I had. If you noticed anything about the way it smelled, and she said, "Yeah, it smells like some of your tobaccos," which is what I had been starting to think. Which is, yeah, it smells kind of like Latakia. I'm afraid this tea's still so hot it's going to burn my tongue. But I said something to you, Pat, about uh, like Russian caravan tea or something. He said this you had something with somebody, so I looked that stuff up, and it's a smoke flavored tea. So I bought some of that on Amazon too, and that actually does have the smoke flavor. Can't remember what it's called. I want to say oolong, but I'm pretty sure that's not even right, not even close to right. Yeah, it's February 25th today, and spring's acting like it's showing up. At least here in Kansas, I've always kind of felt, and this is based on, I don't know, my own thing. And I guess when my grandpa said that was the time you should plant potatoes by was St. Patrick's Day. So I've always kind of felt like here in Kansas anyway, that St. Patrick's Day is kind of the an official beginning of spring. Of course, the equinox is what, maybe a week after St. Patrick's Day, something like that. And then when March 1st rolls around, I'm sure that that would be considered the beginning of meteorological spring. That's only a couple days away, more than a couple, but and it's a leap year. Hopefully it's not too terribly windy on St. Patrick's Day and all. With the Irish flag out on one side with the American flag on the other. We have two flagpole holder thingies. So I have a tendency to, if I have any flags out, I'll have the American flag out, obviously. But I have a pretty diverse ancestral background. So I like flying the flags of some of the countries that my ancestors came from. When it's like they're a national day or something like that. I'm more German than anything else, so I'll put out the flag for a German flag for Reunification Day, which is their national day now. I have a Czech flag, a German flag, a Norwegian flag, a Union Jack, an Irish flag. I need to get a Scottish flag. And I have Scotch-Irish ancestry. Because I understand is more Scottish than Irish. Like, my understanding is that the Scotch-Irish were mostly Protestant lowland Scots that the British got to go over to Northern Ireland to more of a Protestant presence there. Probably my closest ancestral link to Europe would be my great grandmother, who was born in Brooklyn. Her family was from Catania, Sicily. But for some reason, her dad was a sailor. My great great grandpa, I guess, Giuseppe Sirachi was his name. And I once saw a picture of him, but I want to say he had a pipe in his mouth, but could be wrong about that. I need to find that picture. I would save some more. But anyway, my great grandmother moved back to Catania, Sicily for a number of years after she was born in the United States. So anyway, Saint Agatha was a virgin martyr saint from the early centuries of the church back during the Roman times. She's the patroness of Catania, Sicily, because that's where she lived. And I can't remember the date exactly, like February 1st, or I don't think it's Groundhog Day, February 1st or 3rd, maybe. It's St. Agatha's Day. So I have a Sicilian flag that I can put out for that. Starting to get worried this thing's going to go out. Just have that feeling. I was getting a little bit early too. For me, it's not as much of a slow smoking contest as a keep going contest. Still my match though, so there's that. Video's at 22 minutes now. It took me a few minutes before I looked this. I know other stuff. Speaking of Irish stuff, a couple of days ago I got a 4-pack. I guess is all it comes in. Of Guinness 4 and extra stout. Which I had never had that before. And I actually thought that was the best Guinness I'd ever had. Flavor wise, it had a nice kind of like chocolatey thing going on. I don't really think the Guinness draft is all that good. It's all right, but I just find that the flavor is not very strong, not very rich. Despite the fact everybody thinks because it's basically black that it's like really heavy and all that. I don't find it heavy at all. I think it tastes kind of watered down. But the Guinness Extra Stout comes in bottles. That was actually one of the first beers I ever bought when I turned 21. I went to the liquor store and bought a 6-pack of Guinness Extra Stout and a 6-pack of Corona, I think. I mean, Corona's all right, but I just kind of laughed. That was like one of the first 6 packs I ever bought. But I didn't really like extra stout back then. When I stumbled across the Guinness draft cans, I liked that a lot better at the time. There was a guy I knew um, who was Irish. He was the manager of one of the convenience stores in Manhattan where I deliver newspapers every morning. And I do think he was actually Irish, but he's one of those people that he said a lot of stuff that I don't know if I believed. Like he once told me that he had, and I don't mean that to defame or whatever any of the members of the chieftains by saying this. But he claimed that he once smoked pot with Patty Malloy and I guess some of the other members of the chieftains. I don't know if they enjoy the devil's lettuce or not. Whatever, I don't care. But I find his claim that he smoked pot with him dubious. More than one reason. I actually saw the chieftains. I don't know. It's probably been close to 10 years ago now. 7 or 8 years ago. I never thought I'd see him in person. Of course, now a lot of the original members are gone or not in with the group anymore or have died. Patty Malloy was still with them, and the guy that sings and plays the Baudron or however you pronounce it, he's like the youngest member of the original more or less lineup. Well, I think he was a later addition. That was a neat experience. But anyway, this Irish guy told me that yeah, Guinness Extra Stout is it's it's not good to drink. The only thing you can do with it is cook with it. So for a long time, I kind of thought that that's what maybe Irish people in general would think. Then a few years back, I read that the extra stout is actually more like Guinness is over in Ireland, the actually on tap draft stuff. And I enjoy that a lot better than I used to because it has more flavor to it. But the foreign extra stout was but that was pretty good of the Guinnesses I've had anyway. I had known that existed, although it's only until fairly recently that I ever see it in a liquor store. But I was afraid to try it because I knew that originally I hadn't really liked Guinness Extra Stout itself. Got some of that. I got a bottle of Bushmills. Had some Tullamore Dew. I don't think I have. I think I was out of Bushmills. Some good Irish whiskeys. I'm going to say it. I don't think Jameson is really all that good of an Irish whiskey. It's all right. I'm not saying it's not all right, but I think compared to like Tullamore Dew and Bushmills anyway, I find Jameson be kind of not very smooth. I'm assuming it's probably the number one Irish whiskey in the United States. Or if not that, it's the most heavily advertised one. But it's not. I don't really. I prefer something else. I like Irish whiskey. I like that. Just has this kind of a clean, earthy taste to it. I don't know if earthy is quite the right word. I don't know if it's what they like the barley or whatever they make it from, but Scotch and Irish whiskey both have a different character, which is different than bourbon or American whiskeys or Canadian whiskeys. And then of course Scotch is as the barley is malted and dried over peat, where the smoke smokes the malt. Whereas Irish whiskey is produced the same way, except that the smoke doesn't get to the malt. There's something about that character that those whiskeys have, that the base alcohol flavor, not the smoke or lack thereof, but there's something about that I enjoy. Started listening to Wuthering Heights on Audible the other day. I remember my sister really liked that, but she read it when she was a teenager. And actually had a hardback copy of it. Probably ceases to exist anymore. It's probably mold damaged. That's a long story. With some books that are not worth anything anymore. But I tried reading it at least twice, and I never got that far. I'm just bad about some books like that. There's certain books I want to read, and I've tried reading them started them several times, just never get very far. So far, listening to it on Audible, I've gotten further than I ever read. And I oftentimes find it hard to to find a time to read. Whereas I can listen to audiobooks like when I'm out smoking a pipe or I'm washing dishes or doing, whatever, flossing my teeth in the morning. That sort of thing. The Wuthering Heights I find interesting because it's the setting where the Bronte sisters lived, not too far away from the Lake District in Kendal, England, where the Lakeland blends hail from. I mean, it's not set there, but it's set not too far away from there. Got like the Yorkshire Wars or something. Yeah, these slow smoking contests are interesting because you obviously want to you obviously want to smoke very slow, but at the same time, you have to keep it going. So for me, that makes you smoke faster. There's just so many good books out there that you never find enough time in your life to read them or listen to them or whatever. Then I have like spiritual reading type books I want to get to also. There's a lot of good books in that side of things as well. I've been meaning to read a lot of C.S. Lewis's books. Not necessarily like the Chronicles of Narnia, although I have those on Audible too. But he has a lot of books about spiritual life and stuff like that. Started reading the Screwtape Letters years back, and got ways into it and never finished it, sort of thing. Not that it was bad; it was very interesting, kind of entertaining, really. Entertaining in the premise. It's two devils talking. The older mentor devil is giving pointers to the younger one about how to basically mess up or get his charge to sin and that sort of thing. So the premise of it's kind of funny, but at the same time, it's a very serious book about ways in which we're influenced and all that sort of stuff. Gives a lot to think about. Not even 40 minutes yet. Usually it takes me at least an hour to go through a bowl. So I've noticed when I'm out camping, smoking a pipe, I'm not timing it or paying attention to the time by any means. It always seems like I go through those pipes faster. And I don't think that it's like it's windy or something like that that's doing it. I've developed ways of how I hold my pipes and stuff that helps minimize the wind, or I hold them that way when it is windy. One of the other estate pipes I bought when I bought this one, I got this one and got the Peterson peel-up system pipe. I got that Savinelli. It's like a saddle bit billiard. I figured it has a Lakeland ghost in it. Or definitely, if it's not Lakeland, it's some sort of very soapy ghost. So I figured I'd put it through a couple salt treatments. First it's drying out now. Might wait till tomorrow to empty it out. I think I'll give it a couple salt treatments, a couple of running some forum pipes or whatever. The one forum that comes up in Google results a lot. Guys were saying to pack the chamber with just wet coffee grounds, let it dry out, and then dump it out. And I don't know why I think this, but that sounds like a good thing to do. Just makes sense somehow. So I figured I'd do a couple salt treatments and a couple of the coffee ground treatments and see how it smokes then. Funny thing is, I like Lakeland's blends. I actually enjoy those weird floral, rose and geranium flavorings. The soapiness doesn't bother me. But what does bother me is nicotine. Much of it anyway. And the chamber of that pipe is a little bit on the larger side. And I found most Lakeland's blends, or Samuel, I can't ever remember, Samuel Gawath and Hogarth and Company, or whatever. And they're like two companies that are basically merged into one now or something, but although they have different names on the tobaccos. But I find most all those for me, they're kind of like a medium nicotine strength. And for me, that's about as high as I ever want to go. Because it can be too much where it's at. So I try to smoke Lakeland's blends in smaller pipes. So I think that pipe has too big of a chamber for me to be smoking Lakeland's in it. That's why I'm trying to de-ghost it. I have a Peterson Christmas pipe I got just, this left past Christmas. It's a Canadian. But it has a more reasonably sized bowl, so I've been smoking Lakeland's in that one. I have another estate. I guess it would be a lumberman because it's like a Canadian shape with the saddle bit. I smoke Bob's chocolate flake in that one. I really like that stuff. It's like I just kind of feel like it's an aromatic done right. I like Lakelands in general. They're aromatic tobaccos essentially, but there's something about those toppings, even if they are kind of bizarre, which I feel just works better with tobacco. Uh-oh, went out. I think I may have smoked it all the way down. I'll try to relight this and see what happens. Still something in there to burn. Sure tastes like the bottom of the bowl though. But I love the way aromatic pipe tobaccos smell before you light them. For me though, this usually that smell doesn't translate in how they taste. And I find that the aromatic toppings usually fall a little bit short in the smoking. And then you're left with this blend, which usually doesn't have all that great of tobacco in it. I guess I don't mean like bad quality necessarily, but it really wasn't blended with those tobaccos to be providing the flavor, so that you're kind of left with this bowl of lackluster tobacco with this weak flavoring. Whereas if you're smoking like an English blend or a Burley blend or a Virginia blend, basically anything else, those are blended with the tobaccos being, the star of the show. I like Codger blends because even though they have, toppings that provide flavor, I don't know, somehow I just don't feel like they fall short, I guess. They work a little bit better with the tobacco itself. I love how they burn. And I think I have a lot of chemical tongue bite issues. And it really seems like a lot of aromatic blends give me chemical tongue bite. I don't know if it's the propylene glycol or whatever they're putting on it or what. Yeah, and I don't know if I'm convinced that charcoal filters necessarily help me a whole lot with the tongue bite thing or not. I use them sometimes, on the pipe for International Pipe Day. I ordered a couple of pipes from Smoking Pipes. Got 2 7Ls. I got a Tundra Canadian and a Sienna 673. They're both smooth briar. I didn't realize it when I ordered it, but the 6 7 that Sienna 673 is a 9 millimeter. All my other Savinellis are 6 millimeter. So I ordered a thing of balsa 9 millimeter filters and also a thing of elephant 9 millimeter filters. The charcoal ones. I mean, maybe that's all elephant makes. That Tundra pipe, I don't know what the normal list price is for it, but it's on the pricier side. I don't know, 180 or 70, something like that. I didn't pay that much for it because I got, they knock off what they sell it for, and Smoking Pipes is less to begin with. Then I got 15% off because it was International Pipe Smoking Day or whatever, a week. That's one of the pricier new pipes I bought, but I noticed that on the bottom of the bowl has what I'm pretty sure is a small fill. Not a big deal, but I kind of would have thought it wouldn't have had any fills. And I noticed the way the shank is shaped. As a Canadian, it has like an oval shape, but it kind of tapers out a little bit. Uh-oh. All right, well, I'm done. 53:50 on the video time. So that's it for me. Anyway, yeah, that Tundra Canadian, maybe it's my imagination, but I kind of feel like the way that it's tapered on the other side, it's a little bit not symmetrical. And it's not a big deal, but I don't know. I guess maybe I'm being nitpicky or whatever. It is a sort of handmade, crafted item. So, and it's not, it's not like I'm spending a lot of money for a handcrafted pipe that we really expect it to, all the P's and Q's to be dotted and crossed and all that very nicely. But I'll have to talk about that pipe in another video, of course. But that Tundra pipe, it kind of is evocative. It invokes in me memories of being up in the alpine tundra, up in the mountains in the fall. But anyway, I'll talk about that in another video. So yeah, I'm going to bring this one to a close. So this is my entry for the Codger Challenge slow smoke competition. Yeah, I don't know if anybody else watched all the way to the end. I know you are, Pat. So yeah, you deserve. Well, anybody that watched this whole thing deserves my congratulations. I guess I don't know what else to say. But anyway, I'll see you next time. I'm Garrett. I'm Gareth with Flintosbriar. See you then.